Peace, beloved. It is Jen the Mystic once again. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel, watching this video today. So today we are talking about the 6 things that you need to know about the super flower blood full moon eclipse happening on May the 26th, somewhere around 7:15 in the morning Eastern Standard Time. Okay. So, first of all, let's go ahead and tackle this moon with 5 names, okay? First of all, it is going to be a super moon. Just like the Earth has an elliptical orbit around the sun, it's not completely circular, as does the moon. The moon has an elliptical orbit around the Earth, and at some points it's farther away from the Earth, and at sometimes it is closer to us, making the moon look larger in the sky. This is one of those times. We had 3 supermoons this year. And this is one of the 3, and it is the only full moon total eclipse that we are having this year. So that's pretty dope. It is a flower moon, meaning that it is the full moon in May, and the reason that is named that is because of the flowers that are blooming in May. This is usually when wildflowers start popping up and blooming all over North America that I know of. Okay, I can't really speak for any other parts of the world, but I know here in North America where I live, May is usually when, spring flowers. That's when it pops off. It is a blood moon because of the shadow that the Earth is casting on the moon, and it's giving it that red, hazy type of, shade to its color. So the Earth is literally throwing shade on the moon. Okay, hey, it is what it is. All right, and it is going to be a total eclipse, meaning that the moon is going to be in the Earth's shadow 100% completely. So, super flower blood full moon eclipse. All right, so let's get into it. Let's talk about the 6 things that you need to know about this full moon eclipse. So as I said before, this full moon is going to be one of 3 super moons that we have this year. The first one was in April, the pink moon. This one, the full flower blood moon, is going to be in May on the 26th, and we have the strawberry moon on June the 24th. Now, at its farthest away from the Earth, the moon is around about 250,000 miles away from us. The moon is going to be about 30,000 miles closer to us than it usually is, which is what is going to make it look so much larger in the sky. It's actually going to be closer to us than the previous supermoon in April, only by about 100 miles, which it really isn't that much when you're talking about thousands and thousands of miles. However, it is going to make a really big difference when the moon is coming up over the horizon, because it's literally going to look like it's taking up a quarter of the sky. So this supermoon that we have coming up is the only total lunar eclipse. The very last total lunar eclipse that we had of a supermoon was in January of 2019. So this is going to be a spectacular event in the heavens, okay? Who's going to see it? All right, that's what everybody wants to know. Who's going to be able to see this eclipse? Unfortunately, for those of us who live on the East Coast, okay, those of us in Eastern Standard Time, we are not going to see it. All right, the moon is going to go into full eclipse maybe around an hour after sunrise for us, so we are not going to see it. However, those in Central Time, Mountain Time, Pacific Time, you guys are going to be able to see more of it. Those on Pacific Standard Time, you're definitely going to be able to see a lot more of it, even though you won't be able to see the full eclipse, as in the moon moving into the Earth shadow and then also moving completely out of it. However, those on Hawaiian time, you're going to be able to see the entire show. So the full moon itself is happening in the sign of Sagittarius, all right, at 5 degrees Sagittarius. And the axis to it, where the sun will be, is 5 degrees Gemini. So we have Gemini, okay, where the sun is going to be, the sign of communication, all right, directly opposite Sagittarius, okay, the sign of freedom, truth, and justice for all. This reflection of the sun to the moon in Sagittarius is going to give us an opportunity to look into our beliefs, okay? Our beliefs and how it is that we communicate them, all right? Expression, the expression of self, and also our expansion, okay? So what it is that we believe, because we all of us operate from the basis of what it is that we believe. Okay, so based on what our beliefs are, what our belief system is, okay, this is where we communicate from. This is where we receive communication from, okay? So it's more along the lines of how are you addressing, paying attention to, or blocking, okay, information for your expansion. Now, the sun is most definitely going to be shining that light, okay, on the moon, with the moon reflecting back to the sun. Where is it that maybe your beliefs, what it is that you've learned, your dogma, the rules that you have set up around yourself, your life, your beliefs, how you view things, how is it that they may be confining you or restricting you, okay? Don't forget, Sagittarius is the sign of freedom, okay? All day long and twice on Tuesday, only to be rivaled by Aquarius, all right? Sagittarius, don't play that. Native Sagittarius, all right? So we're all about, you know what I'm saying, freedom, truth, what it is that, you know what I'm saying, we are out here to do. We're all about expansion, okay? And like I said, this full moon is going to be giving us that opportunity to look and see, okay, so what is it that I've picked up, that I've agreed to, that I believe in, that is actually stopping me from being able to expand into who it is that I actually want to be? Where is it that I'm blocking myself from the freedom that makes me who it is that I am? Remember, beloved, beliefs are things that are learned. You are not born believing anything, okay? Life lessons, nature, nurture, all of these things, programming, okay? All of these things go into our belief systems, okay? And especially with Pluto in retrograde right now. Don't get it twisted, okay? We are able to look back and reflect and say, okay, well, this might work for that person. This might work for that person. But did I just pick that up because that's what I was taught? Have I been trying to fit myself into a box? Or have I been trying to, you know, take my psyche and model it after what it is that I have seen work for other people, or what it is that I have been told is the right thing to do? Also, since we're talking about Sagittarius and we're talking about the sign of you know, law, belief systems, religion, higher learning, expansion, let's also make sure that we are not confusing what is right with what is law or legal. So, this entire full moon eclipse energy situation that we have going on is squared to Jupiter in Pisces. Okay, now Jupiter in Pisces itself is an absolutely positively lovely energy for the vast majority of us, okay? It's not for everybody, all right? For some people, it can be a very confusing, just straight up bewildering time. I've talked to some people who are just, you know, excelling, you know, mad creative, all the insights are coming in. They're getting all of the downloads. They're like, yeah, I'm setting this up. I'm setting this up. You know what I mean? But at the same time, we do have to remember that Neptune is also in Pisces, okay, along with Jupiter. All right. And so we're talking about, the planet of illusion. All right. And Neptune is not necessarily a negative energy or a negative planet. Okay, so we might be talking about, you know what I'm saying, illusion or maybe falsehood, but at the same time, all right, we're also talking about expansion, the dissolving of borders, making it easier for us to be able to maneuver into our imaginations, using that Jupiter energy to expand on what it is that we intuitively know, what it is that we, empathically feel, and being able to go deeper, as if you could get any deeper than Neptune and Pisces. Okay, but being able to go deeper into that energy. So with the square, Jupiter is squared the sun and the moon, both, okay, of course, because they are opposite each other. If it's square one, then it's square the other one. All right. And so this leads us into that feeling of good. What makes me feel good? Indulgence, okay? Watch yourself. All right, watch yourself, watch yourself, watch yourself. Make sure that you are not trying to use your vices. Okay, you're drinking, you're smoking, your recreational drugs, you know what I'm saying, all of that other good stuff, your sex, all right, you're spending, you're shopping, you're just blowing off everything it is that you need to do and just vacay for the sake of vacay. Not mad at you, but make sure that you're not going too far into the water, because Pisces is kind of fucking deep. All right. So you want to make sure that you're keeping that balance there. Now, on the flip side, intuition, creativity, actually doing the thing where you see what it is that the vision is and you pull it closer to you. Okay, that's also available to you also. All right, so it depends on what side of the coin that you on, but just make sure that you're keeping an eye on overindulgence, especially with overspending. Okay, overspending, overindulgence, don't hurt yourself. Don't do anything that you will regret later on. Now, while the moon in Sagittarius is only being affected by its opposite to the sun in Gemini and its square to Jupiter in Pisces, the sun is being affected by the trine, it's a trine, to Saturn in Aquarius, which is currently retrograde. The Saturn in Aquarius energy brings more of a fine-tooth comb, maybe a closer look, examination, structure, or rules around communication of the collective. Okay. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, okay? Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. So we know that Mercury is all about, communication. Mercury is a personal planet. So it is about the communication between me and you, how I receive communication, how it is that I communicate. When we're talking about Uranus, okay, the rebel, the change maker, okay, all day long and twice on Tuesday, we're talking about collective energy. So we're talking about how the collective communicates with each other. Okay. Now, when we have Saturn in Aquarius, we have more rules and restrictions around the collective and how it is that the collective communicates and exchanges with each other on the personal level and the collective level. Hence, how our entire world has changed because of COVID. How it is that we communicate with each other. Aquarius is the sign of, advanced growing, expansive technology, which is pretty much the basis on how we all communicate with each other now, okay? Through technology, Zoom calls, social media, okay? This is how we friend now, okay? Even though outside is just opening back up, which is awesome, and it's going to continue to do so more with Saturn retrograding because it's tearing down some of those walls that we have built up around communication in the technological sense. We all know that wherever mass amount of attention is, mass amounts of people are, mass amounts of energy is, then those are the places that are more regulated. Okay? These are the places where we don't need, but these are the places where we need more rules, more regulation. There needs to be more stipulations around what it is that is and is not okay, what it is that we can and cannot do. All right. And we see that playing out, you know what I'm saying? Full spectrum. Like, you don't even need to be on social media. You don't even need a screen for that. All you have to do is go outside. Okay. So, with Saturn being in retrograde, all right, and also trining the sun, this is shining light on where it is that those limitations, those stipulations, and those restrictions have caused limitations, restrictions, and outdated boundaries in our own lives, and how it is that we relate to the collective. Okay, so once again, all right, pulling in that energy of making sure that we're checking our boundaries, our limitations, our expansion, and making sure that the boundaries that we are putting ourselves into are healthy for us, not just because somebody else said that you should. Now, along with the sun trining Saturn, who is retrograde in Aquarius, the sun is also trine Pluto, who is retrograde in Capricorn. Okay, so let's get into it. All right. Pluto, the smallest planet that we have, is all the way out there on the outskirts. They keep trying to debate whether it's a planet or asteroid, whatever. It's a planet. We keeping it in the story. Okay, that's my final answer. Now, Pluto is the planet of personal power. When you think about personal power, okay, this is not so much your willpower and your ability to get things done. This is more like your power over situations, yourself, other people, the things it is that you do. Okay, so Pluto is actually your power. Okay, now, with Pluto retrograding in Capricorn, all right, Capricorn ruled by Saturn, of course. So what are we talking about? We're talking about limitations. We're talking about restrictions. Capricorn also being a money house. A lot of people don't look at Capricorn, a money sign. Depends on what house it's in your natal chart, whether it's a money house for you. But Capricorn being a money sign, a lot of people don't look at Capricorn as a money sign. They also don't look at Saturn as a money planet either. But let me tell you something. Hard work, okay? There's absolutely nothing wrong with hard work. A lot of people hear hard work, restriction, discipline, and they're just like, oh my gosh. But let me tell you something. Saturn does not govern what your work is, okay? Saturn doesn't govern what your work is. People who do what it is that they love to do for a living all day, every day, work hard. And people who hate what it is that they do every day, all day, and work for a living, work hard. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's all about your perception. And once again, what are your mindsets? What are the boundaries and the limitations that you are setting up for yourself? Did you set them up for yourself, or did you accept them from someone else? Was it taught to you? Is it nurture? Is it nature? Is it programming? Is it conditioning? These are all things that we are going to be going through this super full moon eclipse. I'm so happy for it. I'm so happy for it, okay? Because this is where a lot of people get hung up. And, you know, my love for shadow work, all right? My love for shadow work just makes me be like, yes, yes. Like we're doing it. We're doing it. We're doing it. We're getting in there. We're getting in there. All right. So, where is it that you can look into your life and see where you have given your personal power away, or where it is that you do not have power over yourself and your life? Okay, in any and every situation, relationships, work, okay, where it is that you live, your body, okay, what habits have just taken you over and you have no power over yourself, okay? Once again, balance, okay? Remember, Jupiter in Pisces tends to let us get a little wavy with them things that make us feel good, okay? So remember, balance. You know what I mean? What is it that has you neglecting what it is that your body needs? You know, are you moving the way that you need to move? Are you feeding yourself what it is that you need to feed yourself? Are you setting those boundaries for yourself that you need to be able to move freely? People think that boundaries are limitations. That's not true. Boundaries are what it is that you set for yourself to determine how it is that you choose to move in your life. Boundaries are not for other people. Boundaries are for you. Okay? Let's make sure that we're using our boundaries correctly. All right? So, like I said before, relationships, situationships, okay, jobs, and also with yourself. Who holds your personal power? Who holds your personal power? A lot of times, we get stuck in what it is that we feel like we should do, what it is that we feel like we can't do, what it is that we feel like we want to do. And those things just kind of like bleed in together and coincide. However, where does your power over yourself, your life, your experience, where does that come in? Okay, this is what the Pluto retrograde, especially with Saturn, okay, especially with Saturn, excuse me, especially with the sun. I'm thinking about Capricorn, especially with the sun being trine to the Pluto retrograde, is most definitely going to bring all of this full circle for us. So, all in all, beloved, eclipse energy is very unstable. All right, it most definitely is. And we're dealing with a total supermoon eclipse, okay? It can get intense. Breathe through it. Breathe through it, literally. Literally, okay? Sometimes during full moons, 3 days before, 3 days after, I find myself literally, because that's how intense the energy is for me. Okay, breathe through it. If you feel like, there's just entirely too much going on, things are getting, what I'm saying, just ridiculously intense, it's something that you can't deal with, it's something that you can't handle, reach out. Okay, reach out to, what I'm saying, your trusted friend, what I'm saying, your spiritual advisor. If you feel like you need a reading, come holler at me. You know where I'm at. Okay, come holler at me on the socials. All right, come say what's up, hello, hello. All right, we are going live Wednesday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually the night of the full moon. Okay, and make sure that if you feel like you're not okay, that you are getting help. If you have mental health issues and you just feel like that Jupiter and Pisces energy is just taking you all the way to the depths of, get help, reach out, get therapy, speak to a counselor, okay? By all means, all right? You don't have to do it alone. We are all under this same energy. It's not affecting everyone the same way, all right? However, we're all under this intense energy that's going on, okay? And sometimes when you realize that maybe a vast majority of your life you have been deprived of your personal power because at some point or another you gave it away, not fully knowing what it is that you've done, or you've agreed to a narrative about yourself and your life, or you've agreed to a situation trying to go along to get along, and you know, you're finding out that, fuck, have I even made a decision for myself? Have I done anything for myself? You know, that can, you know what I mean? That realization is fucking heavy. Okay? That's that realization is fucking heavy, and you don't have to go through it or deal with it alone. All right? You don't have to flip out, go the fuck off on everybody, and you know what I'm saying, just have your own, you know, breakdown, midlife crisis type of situation. You don't have to, even though I'm not saying don't do it. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm not one good for telling people how to handle energy, just what it is that's happening. Okay? If that's what you feel like you need to do it. Don't hurt nobody. Okay? Don't hurt anybody and don't hurt yourself. All right? And at the same time, you know what I'm saying? If this energy got you feeling good, all right, you are realizing that you are exactly where it is that you need to be on your journey. You are breaking down them walls. You breaking down them boundaries. You are on the level up, okay? And you are just going into that next level of self, all right? You're going into that next level of your human experience. Make sure that we're not overindulging. Okay, make sure that we're not, you know, drinking troubles or sorrows away. Make sure that we're not taking ourselves out of, you know, clear, crisp consciousness to escape. All right. By all means, get your drink on, get your smoke on. Look, get your drink on, get your smoke on. Do what it is that you feel like you need to do, by all means. But make sure that we're doing it in the right vibration. Make sure that we're doing this in celebration and not in depression or despair or trying to get out of depression or despair. Okay, beloved? Enjoy the energy. Enjoy the energy. Make sure you get your full moon rituals on. If you don't do nothing else, at least take a bath. All right, take a spiritual bath, okay? And love yourself. Love on you, okay? Because you got you here. All right? You might have had some help. Hell, you might have had some hand holding, okay? Somebody might have had to hold your hand to get you to where it is that you are. Point to the story is that you took the steps. You the one that had to take the steps to get to where it is that you are. Celebrate your damn self, okay? Congratulate your damn self, all right? And I will see y'all next time. If you would like to take a look at the Superflower Blood Moon pick a stack, so that you can get, you know, a little bit of tailored energy into what's going on with you during this time frame. I'm going to go ahead and put that down in the description box as soon as it should be up by now. So I'll go ahead and put that down in the description box for you so you can go ahead and look at that. Happy Gemini season to all of my air babies. I love y'all, and I will see you soon. Peace, beloved.